Hey guys, Brad Flynn here, and today we're going to talk about benchmarks. Now, most of you know, we may not know, I'm a geeky ex-engineer, but I like to joke that I'm better now. But benchmarks can be a really powerful way for us to compare where our business is that we're either owning or managing, so that we can just see how we're going with the rest of the industries in our group. Now, where you get your benchmark data, you can buy it specifically, but in a lot of countries you'll find that the government may actually store it as part of their taxation tracking and everything. So the government has all of our figures, and that when we put our tax in, and yeah, they're mostly pretty accurate, but enough to give us a starting point. Go to your tax office, have a look at and see if they've got benchmarks, otherwise go and seek them privately. So here's how it works, because there is quite often money left on the table if you're not using benchmarks. So back to our standard fixed profit and loss statement. We've got sales of 500, COGS of 250, so a GP of 250. Now I've broken it up differently this time with regard to the fixed expenses. All right, and a lot of my other videos, I think I have fixed expenses coming up to 200 grand, which is the same, and a profit of 50. So 250 minus our fixed expenses total gives us 50. This 200, and this is just a make-up example here, I said, okay, we've got 150,000 in wages, 20,000 in vehicle costs, and the rest, admin and bits and pieces, insurances and phone and power and all the rest of that, I've said, that's 30 grand. Now what I've done next is break these down into percentages of the sales. Most things in a profit and loss are referred to the percentages of the sales. So here, 20,000 is 4% of 50,000. If you do the maths on it, that's how it works out. And then 30% is our wages, which is 150 out of 500. Now, if you go and find benchmark data, what you will see is they will generally rank it based on turnover for business. So in this instance here, we've got a business that's 300 to 600K. We've looked it up. It tells us for businesses, on average, their GP runs at 55% for this turnover range, wages is 28%, and vehicles is 1%. There'll be a bunch of other variables there that you can look at depending on where you are. Now here's where the cool starts. I'm going to need to get my trusty old calculator. So if our GP is 55%, the standard is, that means 55% of 500, 500 times 55% equals 275,000. So that's a difference of 25,000 that we're missing out on. So probably what that would indicate to me is somewhere, and it may reflect down here, is our cost of goods we are paying too much, or we are not punching out enough sales to get the margin or the GP that we need. If we look at wages, and this is probably where it would be, wages on the benchmark says it should be around 28% of the total. We're at 30%. So if we do 28% of our sales reference, so 500,000 times 28%, equals 140. That's a difference of $10,000. Okay? No, it's not. Yeah, $10,000. So far, we've found 25K extra, because if we can make more money here, that will flow straight to the bottom. These fixed expenses don't change. 10K, and then for our vehicles are way over. So if we were where we are with the rest of the benchmark, so 500,000 times 1% equals 2,500, and we're running at 20,000, that's way over the top. Let me just check that again. 500, 1, 2, 3, times 1%, 5,000. It should be 5,000. Let me write that again. 5,000. 1% of our sales is 5,000. We're running it at 20. So we are, again, 15K higher than everyone else in the industry on average. So if you look at these numbers here, there's 15, there's 10, 25, and there's 25. There's potentially an extra 50K within the business because we're not running it properly, or we're not buying properly, or we're not getting as much out of our team. So go looking for the benchmarks. They are a really important tool to have in your business. And if you have any comments, post below, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully that's been valuable.